Hi, my name is George Helm, and I want to be your next president. It was 4th of July the other day, and it got me thinking about different things with our country, and I happen to have a copy of the Declaration of Independence. This is an awesome document. It's signed by the most courageous people I could ever imagine. I was rereading it and it inspired me. It truly did. And I encourage anybody and everybody to read this document. It is not just a part of our history, but it is something else. And it saddens me to say that I believe that the things that are in this document, that this document addresses, the things that our forefathers, the people who made everything that America is possible, we've gotten so far away from what they were trying to build, what they tried to create, what they tried to stop, I believe is happening here in America today. We have some great documents like the Declaration of Independence. We also have some archaic traditions and policies, one of which I believe is the Electoral College. If I get far enough in the running for president and I actually, if I'm in the end game and the Electoral College doesn't go the way of the majority and I win on majority, you better believe that Electoral College will not continue. We'll be replacing it with a system in which votes are actually counted. I'm sorry to say that I haven't voted in recent elections because I thought that my vote didn't count because of the Electoral College. I cast my vote on a piece of paper. It was put into a wooden box that a lady was holding right near my home at a school. I drove straight home. I looked on the TV and they said that California had already cast its electoral votes. There's no way that anyone could have counted my vote and then taken that into consideration before they made their decision. The fact that we have an electoral college at all is just crazy. The electoral college was made because they thought that the majority of Americans weren't educated enough and didn't have enough sense to make a sound vote. I think that the American people do. We need to get rid of the Electoral College altogether, especially if it isn't coinciding with the majority vote of the people from its state. If you vote for me, I'll make your vote count because they'll be counting your votes, not the Electoral College votes. Beyond that, we have other serious problems within our democratic process, one of which is lobbyists. Lobbyists are controlled and they're paid for by special interests. Special interest is what many of our politicians owe. And because of that, we end up with laws that don't make any sense. They don't help the average American, and that's why we can't see anything on the street that either of the last two presidents has done that has made any difference for us in our daily lives. It's bogged down. No one's trying to help us. Nobody has ever helped the average American except the average American. I don't think I've ever seen Trump do anything nice for somebody on the street. I doubt he really considers the average American when he's making his decisions. He likes to say things like people are sore losers. I didn't vote for him and I didn't vote for the other candidates either. Do you know who the real losers were in the last election? Everybody. The fact is that no one got anything out of it except the people he owed. Big business, large corporations, and the rich. Not the majority of Americans. Not the people on the streets. Not middle class. Not upper middle class. Certainly not the poor. In either of the last two administrations. Because neither president came from average American society. They don't know what it's like. So they'll tell you a lot of stuff, and they definitely want your votes when they need them. But what did they do for us? They didn't do anything for me. I'll do stuff for us. I care because I am one of the average Americans. You want your vote to count? You want policies enacted that'll change your life for real? Vote for me. Vote for George. You know why? Because I'm one of you. I'm not privileged. I don't live in a mansion. Today, I dug a ditch. I did some landscaping. I've seen big business step on people like me. I've been stepped on. I've been crushed. A big business did the same thing to me that Trump does to his contractors. He didn't pay them. Trump, I hear, doesn't pay a lot of his contractors. It's not all right. People make money off of us. Take our money. They take our services. They utilize us to the best of their abilities. And they profit from it greatly. The last, I don't know how many administrations, but many have profited from your votes. It's time to vote for an American that's one of its majority. Somebody that knows the problems that are in America today. That lives with those problems. That's who you need to have fix those problems. Because as much as we would like to believe, the politicians that are in office today, and in any office, have been corrupted by the system. They don't have you in interest. Do you know what senators and congressmen do when they retire? They become lobbyists. They work for special interests. They work for big corporations, making policies that only help those individual corporations or interest groups. You know what group I'm interested in? I'm interested in America. Who else is really interested in helping Americans? Somebody told me I should make a movement. I should create a movement. I look at the Declaration of Independence. This is a movement. I'm not talking about revolution. No. I'm talking about the election movement. I'm calling it social unrest for one. Not for everyone. For not just for one group. For all Americans. Under one flag. Social unrest because it's been far too long since anybody has done anything for the average American. These people did. I've been inspired by this document. And I hope that it inspires you too. I'd sign that. I'd re-sign it right now if I thought that my name was worthy enough to go on the paper next to those people, but it isn't. I'm putting my face and I'm putting my signature on social unrest. One flag, one peoples, the American people. I'm not talking about socialism. I'm not talking about communism. I like democratic process. I like the capitalistic country that we have, but there's some things that need to change. Number one, the Electoral College needs to go. Number two, I'm going to limit the ability and the powers that any kind of lobbyist thinks they might deserve, because they don't. They don't have the people of America in their best interest. They're all about money. I don't have money. And you know what? Some people say that this video is going to get me killed. You know, That's okay with me. You know why? Because it would be for a reason. And if I'm killed, then I think somebody else will step into my place and take it all the way. And I hope they do. One way or another, it's time for change. Vote for George. I'm gonna fix things.